Hi, this is Dan Dick for NoDivorces, and I think I finally got the hang of this. We'll see. Anyway, my wife got a brilliant idea this morning, and when I started the No Divorces website years ago in 2001, it was more or less a rant against no-fault divorce. And after a few years, we had some people that came in. There were people that kind of commiserated, basically, that they had been going through a lot of the suffering from the what do you call it? The injustices involved in it. It is a very foolish and irresponsible law. It is. And some people may think, well, that's a naive view of it from someone who is not a lawyer and doesn't work with these things every day. But actually, this is something I've lived with for many, many years. Probably most of my life, in a sense, because when I was a kid, my parents stayed together. My grandparents stayed together their whole time. And I'm just out here in front of our house right now with the garden here. But I kind of grew up to expect that marriage was a promise that you kept. Families stay together. They, for the love of the children, for the honor of one's word, and it was not a promise made to be broken. So when no-fault divorce came about, we noticed was an acceleration in the number of divorces. It was a sad thing. It was an unjust thing. It was a terrible thing, and my dad would look at it and think, well, somebody's not very mature, not very grown up if they can't stay with their promises or their wedding vows. My grandparents did on both sides, and I was very fortunate to grow up in that. However, when it hit our generation, none of the three of us were left unscathed. My sister had gone through a few divorces of her own, and we didn't understand at first, and I understood more things later on, and I was quite judgmental toward her and actually quite unfair, but it was because of the things I didn't know. I didn't have any desire to be unfair or unkind to her in any way. But things I've learned since, I kind of understood that there's a lot of personal things I won't go into, and there's a lot of things I don't know, and I don't think if I'm not supposed to know it, I really don't want to know it. I'm not very nosy when it comes to that. I don't like that. My brother was handicapped. He had congestive heart failure, which eventually took his life when he was 39 years old. And we miss him terribly. But his wife, I guess, gave up on him. I think she had some regrets about that. But it was hard to be married to a handicapped man all those years. And so I understand. And then about the time that she left, my ex-wife left me for another man. So we didn't come through unscathed. It was a very painful thing to go through, and I started No Divorces as kind of a rant against infidelity and against divorce, and against the utterly criminal and horrible injustices of no-fault divorce, with which the only winners are the attorneys in this situation. Later on, we kind of came together as a group, then we kind of dispersed, and I didn't really continue it that much. It kind of went on the back burner, and a lot of the websites that I had, the various domains that I took out, kind of went on the back burner for a bit while I went back to work in, to earn some money basically for the family. I remarried in 2007, and I felt like, well, I wanted this thing to be a help for people, not just a rant, not just to you know, um, oh, I felt like I needed a cathartic rant for many years, because this was really an extremely painful thing for me to have the family fall apart. Um, but I felt like, well, maybe we're supposed to do something to help people save their marriages rather than complain about things. And my wife would get, now my wife would get tired of me complaining about all these and reliving this over and over again. But then this morning we were talking about it, and I was wondering, what is NoDivorces for? It was kind of like the base website of all the other websites. I had savemarriages.com with dash in it. I had saveyourmarriage.org with dashes in it, and I had familyfanatics.com with the dash in between family and fanatics. And Family Fanatics was for fun activities for family, to strengthen families, and it was going that direction. It's still in the kind of beginning stages. As I was rebuilding or reworking these things again, the SaveMarriages.com was for marriages in crisis. I wanted something that would help people that are in a crisis there, and then that was SaveYourMarriage.org, and then SaveMarriages.com was for people who wanted to help save marriages. So what was NoDivorces for? And I originally, it's kind of lumped together, and I was wondering, isn't it kind of redundant? And yet it was the foundational one. And this morning, Eileen mentioned to me something that took me aback. I was surprised she would recommend this, but she said, what's really needed is something to fight against the no-fault divorce laws. And it was like, wow, that's what it was originally. Why didn't I see that? And she's right. I need to come back to that fight. We need to express the treachery of this, the problems it's causing, and the injustice of it, the dishonesty of it. So anyway, that's the direction we're going to take now. So just wanted to let you know in this short video here, and I plan on putting this on the front page of my No Divorces from the start, and I'll start working toward that direction. It's going to take a lot of work to build all these websites up, but this time I want to do it well, and I want to do it right, and I want to be able to hear voices or things from other people, not voices literally, but kind of a little chat, or not I don't know if it would be a chat, but a little chat at the bottom of a lot of the pages, comments basically, to make it a little bit more like a social media with a specific purpose. And hopefully this can help bring healing and get some ideas together how to turn this law around, get rid of this no-fault divorce law, and start saving families, lower the divorce rates. We really need to do that. I know there was a great group called Marriage Savers several years ago that seemed to be very successful in lowering divorce rates. But we have some issues also about which marriages to save. We want to think that, in my personal view on this, is that divorce is only, there is no such thing as a no-fault divorce. A no-fault is actually a lie. There's always a fault whenever there's a divorce. Somebody's causing it. and we're not to blame the person that is the victim or the people that are the victims of this, or to say, well, the fault has to be balanced between both sides because both parties are always at fault. That's not true. Somebody is forcing the divorce to happen. Everybody has faults. Granted, I'll grant that. I mean, there's no question about it. We all have our shortcomings, but the family, the marriage promises, the wedding promises cover those. They don't say, I'll stick with you as long as you don't have any faults. The promise is we stay through the thick and thin, for better, for worse, for richer, for poorer, in sickness and in health, till death do us part. And if we can't honor those vows faithfully, what's wrong? What's wrong with us? Do we lack integrity? Do we lack competence? Do we lack love for our children? Do we throw them into the bus for our roll in the hay? I can't think of anything more cowardly or more damaging to the children than that. We need to stay together for a family, and we need to build each other up. Build up the happiness of the family, not tear it down, not become abusive, not get into those kind of emotional abuse or physical abuse or false accusations of wrong intentions that do not exist. We need to give people our loved ones the benefit of the doubt and not try to tear them down for personal gain. That's a very adolescent, a very immature, very cruel and unjust thing to do, very selfish. We need to stop doing that. We need to build our families up. And we need to get rid of this no-fault divorce. Divorce is only there for something, for dire situations where the marriage cannot be sustained, or it should not because it's dangerous. And we should not be lying about it and making excuses why, or saying, well, everyone has a right to be happy. If you're not happy, get out of the marriage and all this kind of stuff. And no, that doesn't cut it. That's a very stupid approach. It's very bad advice. And to say it's both people's fault is an outright lie. It is not. A lot of times we accuse the faithful and say, well, it's partly your fault too, and you're arrogant if you think otherwise. No, that's not true. That's bad advice. That's very bad advice. It basically enables the adulterer, the abuser, the one who is truly at fault, and it punishes the person who is already asking themselves, what can I do? What did I do wrong? What did I do to cause this? When they probably didn't do anything at all wrong to cause it. They were just a human being with normal weaknesses, strengths and weaknesses like everybody else has. And they're trying to save the marriage. They're tormenting themselves, and this counselor comes along and gives them such shoddy, lousy advice. Unfortunately, it's common. It's a common misconception. But the counselor should have enough wisdom. If they're giving counseling, they should have enough wisdom to know not to say that to anyone, because they become an enabler. They make the wrong party feel okay about what they're doing, and they make the other one, they punish the innocent, and they punish their children too, and they tear the family apart. They're not helping to save the family. They're like a Job's counselor. So anyway, this is no divorces. We want to get rid of the no-fault divorce laws, and I think I need a renewed effort in that direction to expose this for what it is and to make sure it's seen out there. So anyway, thanks, and we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.